Alright everyone, welcome back to the playthrough. We are going to continue where we left off. First we're going to head down to this little graveyard here, pick up some extra rune items, and then we will be heading back to Gatefront to make our way down this little path here, which is where we will continue Blade's storyline. Now, there are obviously some wolves over here. In my experience, with these particular wolves, for whatever reason, as long as you don't get too close to them, they don't attack you. Now we'll just head back over this way to kind of get out of combat. Free rooms. Alright. We're gonna warp back up to Gatefront now. For this next portion, if you decide to follow through this playthrough, a lot of people, since the world is so large, they tend to watch someone else and then do things similarly to how they do it. So if you do end up doing that with this playthrough, yes, it just made it night. Make absolutely sure that it is daytime for this next part, because a night boss does appear on this path. And we're not ready to take that on yet. Right over here in Gatefront, I didn't really grab it earlier, but there is another coffin with another item in it. Not doing great. This item is just a flail. I've never really used it. It's not really something that I'm particularly interested in. But if you're the kind of person that likes flails, there's one for you. These little guys in gray are like the worst when you're on a horse, because once they get going, like once they start hitting you, they hit you like 9 or 10 times before they stop. I guess those are called foot soldiers. I don't really know the actual name for them. If you're big into strength weapons, where these two giants are over here, for whatever reason you can't see it right now, they are actually pulling another carriage, or at least they're supposed to be pulling another carriage. And that carriage has a great axe in it. It's very interesting that they're not pulling anything right now. And my game is glitching out or something. They're supposed to be attached to a carriage. This is the first time this has ever happened in one of my playthroughs. Very interesting. Alright, and since we've made it here, we're actually going to go ahead and warp back to the Church of El to speak with Kale, so that way we can continue on with Blade's questline.
You're back.
Alright, so we want to ask about the Howling in Mistwood.
In the Mistwood.
And he tells you about Blade, and gives you an emote, the finger snap for you to use next time you're in that area. Change this one to finger snap. And we'll just warp back to Fort Height West, and then we can head, you know, basically like slightly northwest to go straight to Blade. Now keep in mind the area where Blade is also the area where that gigantic rune bear is. So you still might want to be careful in that area. Come around to the right. Come over here.
Who goes there? Carly sent you, did he? Ever the bloody busybody. Maybe to him you don't seem so strange. The name's Blythe. I'm looking for a man who goes by Darrowell. He fled somewhere nearby. Or so I've heard. Come tell me if you find him before I do. I can offer you ample reward. Darrowell is nothing but a trait, and in need of a fitting end to his tale.
So the reason we came back to talk to Blade over here as soon as we got this one is well, I'll pull it back up when we get there. But anyways, this site of grace is really close to a what are they called, an Evergale. And then in said Evergale, now that we've talked to Blade, we can summon him as a companion during that fight. This is the Evergale here. Now, technically, you don't have to go get Blade to do this Evergale, but I think he might not continue in his quest line if you do this without him. Another word of warning: if you do decide to summon him when you enter this Evergale, just keep in mind that you know, the boss of this area is going to be a little stronger because you summoned a companion, a cooperator. And that will be true with all bosses. If you summon someone to help you, the boss will be stronger.
No. This is where it ends for you.
So we could actually just like hang back and let Blade do all the damage. He will completely just mess this guy up. But we don't really have time for that, so. And there is our first unique weapon of this playthrough, the Bloodhound's Fang. Just some small advice: if you do decide to go against Darrell, whatever his name is, in this Evergale, he, as you saw, he moves pretty quick, he deals a lot of damage, and his, well, I can actually demonstrate it now, his special skill with this weapon, he flings back like that, and then moves incredibly quickly to attack you. It's so like if you've ever seen the anime Bleach, it's like a freaking flash step.
Right. Not to work for it, but don't say I'm not a man of my word. Oh yes. If you venture north to Raya Lucaria and come across a venerable blacksmith who's
So I don't know why he brings up the blacksmith here, because I have found said blacksmith and spoken to him both after talking to Blade and before, and nothing changes. So Blade's recommendation basically means nothing. From here, we're gonna come back up and down this road, and we're gonna be making our way down through until we get to another grace point, and then there will be another section of the map down here. Just try not to get hit by the arrows. You know, the best part about these particular types of these ballistas that they have is once you are behind them, that is basically it. They can't really turn it around to attack you with. Don't know why this guy's not attacking, but oh well. Now, technically, you can destroy these ballistas. You just keep smashing them, and eventually they'll break. But I think as soon as you rest at a site of grace, it's gonna fix itself. So I don't really know what the point of that is. I'm not gonna talk to her yet. Ah, crap. Oh well. So first things first, we're gonna come to the back of the carriage. We're gonna get the Morning Star. Now what I like to do is ride back in this direction. And then come at things like this. That item. Don't stop moving. Here is that site of grace and a merchant.
Buying or selling?
Just for future warning, this area right there at the road, if you warp here and it is nighttime and you are a low level, there is a night boss that pops up right there on the road. So, you know, just might want to be careful if you come through here and it's night.
Be well.
So from here, we're going to come down and activate this little spot. And then once we have that map, I'll mark the rest afterwards. In this area, you don't want to stand still for very long. There's a giant archer down there. You can just barely see him. He has a great bow. And he tries to annihilate you the moment you get down here. Go ahead and reset this so he's not aggroed. So I can pull the map up. Alright, from here, we're going to go from this side of grace, kind of along this path. And we're going to curve back in right here. And then I think there's another side of grace over here. And I know there's one in that direction, but I'm not interested in that one yet. Just in case you're wondering why I'm coming through these areas, even though my guy is just a quality build, I just kind of like to unlock things where I can. You know, you have the ability to spec in this game. So if I decide to use that later, you know, I'm not gonna want to run through and have to find everything again. That off. So from here, we're going to be making our way up to this, and then we'll go to here and through to there. But to get there, obviously this is a big cliff. We gotta go this way. There's usually a third one around here somewhere. I don't want to get there it is. I don't want to get ambushed as soon as I go down these steps over here. But as I said before, the freaking mice in this game like only run up and bother you right as you're about to attack or you're getting attacked by you know, something else. Oh, yeah. Just a heads up. The guys down these stairs, oh, they're such douchebags. So the first time I ran down here to deal with those guys, one shot a bolt at me as before I was even all the way down the steps, and then ran up and was attacking me up close, while this douchebag over here was shooting more bolts at me. And then the first one backed up, and the other dude ran up, and they just swapped off doing that until I finally managed to kill them. Alright, so as for our next location, we are going to be headed to this little house over here. But before I do that, I'm actually going to run through and kill all of these mausoleum soldier knight things to try and get the straight sword that they carry. It's the same straight sword that I tried to get at the beginning of the game, but was unsuccessful, so just gonna try again real quick. They are extremely easy to beat. You just wait for them to attack you. They bounce off really easy. So then all you have to do is heavy attack and hit them with a critical. I was going to mention, whenever those mausoleum knights are around, there's usually one of those skulls that gives runes. I don't know if they did that intentionally because none of the mausoleum knights have heads, or if it was just something that happened during the designing of this area. But, you know, pretty interesting little feature. There's always skulls around when they're headless knights.
Well, it's been an age since I've seen. How can I help?
So the main item this guy sells that I'm after here is this lantern. Super useful for like going into dark caves, obviously. But it lights everything up almost as well as a torch would. So if you were not going to buy the lantern because you have a torch, I would actually suggest getting the lantern. Besides, with the lantern, you can equip it over here, turn it on, and still be able to carry your shield around. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and head back up to Storm Hill Shack. There are only a couple more places that I want to go before we really start clearing out the first area. All of this has really been, you know, to kind of be able to fast travel, to warp around, to be able to look at the map. In the next episode or two is when we'll really start clearing out the entire first area. Let's see if she's still here. She is still here. Alright, I guess we'll call it here for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next episode.